think this was the one. Alright, so let's read. It was the first time in 3 days that Ban Yasuji had set the foot in the Shibuya police station conference room. The investigation meeting for the Maruyamachi crucifixion homicide case had already begun, and Ban was greeted with universal gazes of displeasure for his tardiness. Oh, so it's like a, police conference. All right, the police detective conference. So alright, cool. Fine. Ban forced a polite smile before bending down to sit. He supposed that it was not quite the right time to reveal that he had cooped up in the bathroom with diarrhea. The Maruyamachi crucifixion homicide case had been assigned to the Shibuya police station on the morning after the incident. As they were lacking in manpower due to the Cornelius Tower mass suicide case and the Shibuya station undergrad fetus homicide case. Even the third-grade Assistant Inspector Ban, whom the Metropolitan Police Department's Investigation Division were practically begging to retire, had been called in by the main office. Moreover, as all the incidents had occurred within the Shibuya police station's jurisdiction, it was an unusual situation in which a single jurisdictional station was utilizing these special investigation teams. Because of this, operations were made quite difficult, with the three investigation teams having access to only one large conference room that they had to alternate between. The mass media was hauling it all as one large case known as NuGen, and there were rumors that the police would combine the three investigation teams in order to make NuGen Investigation Division, thus solving the issue of manpower. All three detectives found the prospect completely asinine and regarded it as nothing more than an absolute joke.
警部補、君の報告を。
Assistant Inspector, your report. Ban's superior, Inspector Matsunaga, who was in charge of the investigation team, called out to Ban with a piercing gaze. But Ban did not notice. He simply continued to cool himself down with a handheld fan as he took a moment to recuperate.
警部補、バン警部補、聞いているのか？
Assistant Inspector Ban, are you listening to me?
呼ばれてるっすよ。バンさんの報告待ちなんすから。ちょっと。
The boss is calling you, Ban-san. He's waiting for your report. Hello? The whispers of Ban's partner, a rookie named Suwa, finally got him to realize that he was being called.
すんません。報告は諏訪から。
Oh, sorry about that. Suwa will give the report.
自分っすか？
You want me to do it?
俺がいなくても報告しとけって言っといたろうが。
I did tell you to if I wasn't here, so them's the brakes.
早くしろ。
Hurry it up. Suwa sighed as his superior jabbed him in the elbow, then stood up straight and tall.
犯行現場近くの監視カメラの解析がようやく出たっす。出ました。犯行時間に不審な人物が映ってました。
The analysis of the security camera footage from near the crime scene has finally concluded. The recording shows a suspicious individual present on the scene at around the crime was likely committed. Murmurs echoed through the conference room. The relaxed atmosphere from before had been turned on its head. The other detectives began to take frantic notes in order to not miss a single word of Suwa's report. Considering the situation, it was no surprise they were so frantic about it. After all, three horrific cases had occurred within their jurisdiction in the span of a single month, only one which was not ruled as a homicide as of yet. Their stern determination to to find the culprit even in the face of their reputations was only natural.
プロジェクターに映像を出します。
I will show the footage on the projector. As per instructions Ban had given him in advance, Suba had the projector display footage on the projector screen. The projector showed an image on a confine filled the back alley of Maru Yamacho. It was night and there were very few street lights present, so virtually nothing was visible.
犯行現場から約50メートル離れたところにあるコインパーキングの監視カメラです。
This is a security camera from a coin-operated parking lot located about 50 meters from the scene of the crime. The parking lot was only big enough to fit 2 vehicles. It was a tiny plot of land interposed between the buildings and it was constructed without any real care as well. The scene of the crime was not visible in the footage, not even the path leading to it could be seen. All it displayed was the road that was 1 further away from the crime scene. The video had no sound. The time the video had been recorded was graciously displayed on the bottom right hand corner of the screen, 9:34 p.m.
犯行現場近隣の住民の証言により、21時過ぎから21時半頃まで釘を打ちつける音がしていたというのはご承知の通りだと思いますが、
According to the testimony of the residents near the crime scene, the sound of nails being hammered could be heard beginning from just past 9 p.m. and ending on around 9:30 p.m., which I imagine you already know.
この映像は21時34分。つまりまさに犯行時間直後ということになります。
This footage is from 9:34 p.m., which means it was recorded right after the time of the crime.
不審人物が映っているのは21時34分53秒からおよそ6秒間です。駐車場の前の道を奥から手前へと走り抜けていきます。
The suspicious individual is shown for around 6 seconds, starting from 9:34, 53. During that time, they ran from the back of the road in front of the parking lot to the front. Immediately following Sua's explanation, a silhouette appeared on the footage. They seemed to be in a great hurry and ran from the back to the screen of the front. As the resolution was quite poor, not even the gender could be ascertained at a glance, but Ban had already gotten the crime laboratory to analyze that very point.
科捜研で解析した結果、映っている人物は男。年齢は10代後半から20代とのことっす。です。
The results of the forensic analysis show that the individual is a man with an age estimated between late teens and early 20s, and early 20s.
人相の判別までは無理でした。服装がかなり特徴的ですが、これは小島にある私立水明学園の男子制服と分かりました。
It was impossible to discern their facial features. Their clothing, however, is fairly distinct, and it was discovered to be the male uniform of Suimei Private Academy located in Shodo.
それと、右手に注目してもらいたいんですが、
Also, if you direct your attention toward the right hand, the image enlarged on the right hand of the suspicious individual. It appeared to be grasping something.
スローで再生するとわかるが、走りながら腕を振っている際、この握りしめている何かが駐車場の照明に反射して光を放ってるんだな、これが。
Upon playing the footage back in slow motion, we discovered that when he waves his arms while running, the light reflects from the object he is holding thanks to the lighting present in the parking lot. Now at the good part, Ban took over Suba's explanation.
形状からして犯行に使われた十字架型の杭である可能性がある。
Judging by the shape, there is a possibility that it is the same kind of cross-shaped stake used in the crime. The detectives continued to murmur noisily. So, like, you know, but like the security camera only shows like Taku, right? As he was running from the scene, so like, I just really hope that they don't see it as him as a perpetrator, because like he was holding the cross in his hand, but like, you know, he didn't do the murder. He just stumbled upon it, so I personally hope that it's not gonna be like, you know, him being accused. Just because of that. The detectives continued to murmur noisily. The crew's application culprit might be a high schooler. The proposition was fairly shocking to them. After all, it meant that the new generation madness monkier that the mass media had been pushing could actually become a reality.
最も犯人に近い人物がこの少年だということか。
So the closest person we have to a suspect would be this boy, correct?
そういうことになりますね。
That would be the case indeed. Ban stroked the stubble on his jaw. It was a habit of his. Whenever he felt one step closer to cornering a culprit, he would always reach for that satisfying scraping sensation.
以上です。
That is all. Suba took a deep breath and sat down.
ひどいっすよ先輩。美味しいところ持ってって。
Near the worst, sir. I can't believe you robbed me with a spud like that. Ignoring Suba's grumbling, Ban once again burned the image of the high school boy into his mind.
ようやく尻尾を出したんだ。そいつを掴んで離さねえようにしないとな。
So you finally shown yourself. Now I just have to gotta grab onto ya and never let go. Oh gosh, I really hope that Taku is not gonna... Oh gosh. Machine settings? Okay. Sure enough, the image Shogun had sent was in my cache folder. 168491 JPEG was its name, or JPG. Obviously, a part of me was still hesitant to even look at it. I mean, it was pretty fucking nasty image, grotesque as hell too. I was sure just looking at it would throw me right back to the scene of the crucifixion, where the violent scene had taken place right in front of me. But even then, I need to expose US flawed logic, and therefore guarantee my own safety and innocence. Thankfully, since Seratan was there for me, I could handle a little bit of gore. Mustering all the courage I had, I double-clicked the file. Okay. God, it was so gory. Compared to the crucifixion scene I'd seen in person, it wasn't quite as bad. Telling myself that the image had to be fake, I was just barely able to stomach it. When I'd first received the image, I closed it immediately after looking at it once. I hadn't inspected it thoroughly. This time, holding back the urge to vomit, I decided to examine the image in excruciating detail. I didn't know much how to tell whenever a picture was fake or not, but taking a look at it in the shadows, seeing if there was anything off about the surrounding area, and other stuff like that should probably be enough. The only possibility I had in mind was that the photo had been taken in advance, and the crew asphyxiation corpse had been put on top of it using CGI, computer-generated imagery. And then, the day after Shogun had sent the picture to me, they executed the crime exactly as they edited in the image. Thanks to the poor resolution of how dark the image was, I could only really see the stakes, leaving the identity of the victim unclear. The lighting was only hitting the area surrounding the corpse. It's something about the image was just begging for me to look at the crucifixion itself. I felt like that was the intent of the person who made it. I mean, come on, focusing that much light upon the corpse was kinda overkill, don't you think? Well, it wasn't like I'd been paying close attention to the actual crime scene, so I couldn't really jump to conclusions. In the picture, the demon girl wasn't standing in front of the crucified corpse. But when I opened my eyes wide and looked even closer, I noticed a silhouette in a dark spot on the left side in the image. I'd almost completely missed it. Due to the how low res of the image, the The figure stood and blended perfectly into the surrounding scenery. You could easily miss it if you weren't paying close attention. Obviously the image was fake, but what if the person who'd taken the photo had accidentally left themselves in it? If they had, it was possible that they had forgotten to edit themselves out when they tampered with the image. It looked like they were wearing a swimming uniform. In that case, it had to be the demon girl. She had been wearing one of the time the crime of the trail. But when I took a closer look, I noticed that the figure's hair was actually pretty short. The demon girl had long hair, like you are. Alright, in time for some computer magic. I needed the details here. I opened up some image processing software and dragged the image in. Then, with a big gulp, I selected the levels option in the adjustments menu and brightened the once darkened corners of the image. What? What the hell? Huh? Huh? What? I don't. That's. Pictured on the screen. Pictured on the screen was unmistakably me. How was it me? It didn't make any sense. I'd never even been there before September 29th. It was fake. It had to be fake. I couldn't find any bit of proof that it was, but it absolutely had to be. Nothing made sense otherwise. I mean, Shogun had sent the image on 28th, and the crucifixion murder case had occurred on the 29th. If the image was what had happened on the 29th, then that would mean it was a picture taken from the future.
あなたには予知能力がありますか?
Do you have precognitive powers?
うるさい、そんなはずはないんだ。
Fuck you, there's no way I have powers. I kicked the plastic bottle at my feet and closed the paint program. I checked the file's properties to see when it was made, and then I lost all words. The timestamp was 28, but that was the least of my worries now. In the comments section of the properties menu was a single inconspicuous sentence, a sentence my eyes couldn't look away from. JPEG, machine select, whose eyes are those eyes? Ugh. I slammed my hands on the keyboard before shoving into the edge of my desk. I clutched my head.
セーラ、助けて。
Save me, Sarah. Save me, Sarah. I could barely hold back my tears. What the hell had I done to deserve a whole week of nothing but more and more insane bullshit? Why was the only one they had to deal with this shit? Hang on a second. If they had somehow managed to get a photo of me, and then they edited it into the image of the crime scene, that would either mean Shogun had taken a photo of me without my consent, or that he had somehow obtained my photo from another source. And considering how he had suddenly entered the chat room and started talking to me right after Grim had left, he had likely been aiming for me alone from the very start. Shogun might very well have discovered my real identity. If that was true, then Shogun, the demon girl, anyone could raid my base at any moment, and then I'd be abducted. I felt a chill on the nape of my neck. It was that the quote-unquote gaze again. There was something there, watching me. Don't look at me. Did you really think I'd turn around? I knew the rules of the game better than anyone. It'll take more than that to make me turn around the game. Fears and goosebumps all over my body, and I felt a strong urge to check that the door was locked, but instead of doing that, I could just continue to stare at my monitor as I was too stubborn to let myself loose. Wow, that's really wow. Oh, look, yeah, it loads. It's the same. Unable to calm down, I opened my default word processor and wrote down everything on my mind. Demon
そうに
girl.
決まってる。
Oh, that has to be it. Demon girl equals cold-blooded murderer, has precognitive powers. Shogun, demon girl's underling. You are Shogun's underling. That has to be it. As I stared fearfully at the poor demon, I began to wonder if the girl at the crime scene was actually a real demon. I mean, come on, she couldn't be human by any means. If she was a demon, she might actually be able to see the future. And if she could see the future, projecting a scene from the future onto a picture via psychic photography would be child's play. It would line up perfectly with how she'd somehow managed to carry out the gruesome crucifixion all on her own. She'd then gotten her underling Shogun to send the image to me, a person who she knew would not accidentally witnessing the crime scene. I didn't know why she'd done that. Maybe it was a threat. This'll be you next if you tell anyone what you saw. Or maybe it was a death sentence. You're next. And if that really was what it meant, then
勝てるわけがない。
I'm fucked.
僕は奴らにいつ殺されてもおかしくないんだ。
They could come and murder me at any moment. Okay. That was a scene, alright. Kusino Kiwa faced the PC in her room, her profile gravely serious. She swiftly read through the information displayed on the monitor. Before long, Yua let out a small sigh and released her hand from the mouse, glancing at a piece of paper sitting within reach of her. It was the very same paper she had put before Nichijou Takumi the day before, the printout of the dialogue between Nightheart and Shogun.
西条君
Nishijoken. Yua muttered a single name. The view of Takumi sitting alone on that shadow park bench appeared in her mind before she could shoot her head to drown it out. Suddenly, she looked behind herself in surprise.
今誰かに見られていたような。
Just now, it felt like someone was watching me. Her gaze stopped upon a large stubbed gear froggy and shrine on her bed. Wondering if it had just been her imagination, she tilted her head in puzzlement. Then she slowly rose to her feet, walked over to her bed, and felt onto it head first. The shield smelled of the sun. It seemed that her mother had kindly dried the food on earlier today. Yua buried her face in that relieving scent, her gaze wandering about vacantly. Her room was very neat and orderly, placing her meticulous personality on full display. This especially applied to her large bookshelf, which was at incongruous for a room size at 13 square meters. It was packed tightly with countless books, leaving hardly any gaps. However, charmingly, the lower half consisted of nothing but complex academic books, computing-related books, and other similar material, contrasting greatly with the upper half, which was filled with short manga and anime DVDs. With another sigh, Yuva turned her body face up and stared at the ceiling.
DID
DID. Uh, Dissociative identity disorder. We at MetaWiki are currently discussing when an adult implement a Japanese vision of wiki paradise. If you can listen in contributing, please feel for join us. I'll see you there. Dissociative identity disorder from wiki pedophilia, the encyclopedia of useless knowledge. A condition in which a single person has more than one personality, commonly referred to as DID. A personality is defined as a continuous pattern of engaging with one's environment while being aware of the environment and the ego. In other words, a human being ego presents itself by recognizing the continuous passage of time, confirming that their actions and subsequently received information inconsistent, and from there is themselves. Personality change in DID is sudden. It can be triggered by psychological stress, social stress, and as well as various other environmental factors. Disorder is characterized by many cases in which different personalities do not retain the same memories. Uh, uh, the one of onset in early childhood, but it may not be always be clinically apparent. It's easier to disease to become chronic should the patient experience some form of something. It was first referred to a multiple personality disorder, which I would have been some psychological term. An explanation later was still shown on her monitor. It was first referred to as multiple personality disorder DSM. 3. Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Third edition, published in 1980 by the American Psychiatric Association, and while the name Mibikomakasi had not been used since the DSM 4, 1994. An explanation later, it was still displayed on her monitor.
辛いんですね。
It must be so hard. Oh, so you are kind of likes him. You hugged the stuffed gear froggy by her pillow tightly as she thought about Takumi.
でも、私、
But I... However, her expression soon vanished, replaced only by the gritting of her teeth. It hurt to breathe. All I was doing was looking things up on my PC. Yet it hurt to breathe. I could feel my heart pounding harder than it ever had before. And of course the feeling that something was watching me would not go away. I was just barely keeping myself from turning around. But I knew I couldn't do it for much longer. What the fuck is wrong with you? Show yourself, asshole! I cried out angrily about whatever it was. Surely it wasn't a demon girl, right? Or God, what if it was? Clairvoyance. She could be using second sight or clairvoyance or some other demonic power to spy on me. Ah. The chills on the back of my neck were gradually growing stronger to the point when they were getting slightly painful, like jolts of electricity coursing through my body. I was covered from head to toe in sweat. The front of my t-shirt was completely soaked. God damn it! Unable to take it anymore, I whipped around in my chair as forcefully as I could, and yet all I said was my room, in the same condition as always. I didn't see a single thing that I shouldn't have been there. How are you not there? Who are you? With a yell that was closer to a shriek than anything, I burst up from my chair and went to make sure the door was locked, and much to my relief it was. I wiped away the sweat on my forehead with my sleeve. Returning to my PC, I focused on the monitor once more. It was still displaying what I had been researching earlier, precognition. Precognition. From Wikipedia, the encyclopedia of user knowledge. Noun, to know what's going to happen in advance, for example, the foreseen and unseen phenomenon, also known as foresight or foreknowledge. To know what's going to happen in the future before it actually happens. The term does not refer to predictions based on experience, information, or statistics, but rather a special sense that transcends humanity natural perception. It has not been scientifically proven to exist. The way it manifests differs from person to person, with the most common being visions and prophetic dreams. Belief in precognition has existed since ancient times, where shrine maidens were often heralded as carriers. Psychics and fortune tellers are the modern incarnation of this belief, but there are many false actors who enjoy taking advantage of the superstition, claiming that they have precognitive powers in order to swindle others. Yeah, sadly. When I was a kid, I truly believed that precognition existed, that psychics existed. And if I was being completely honest, I still did to a degree. That was my first thought. That had been that image from Shogun, and the demon girl was a precognitive photograph. A thought which only drove me to look into it all the more. What if, maybe, just maybe, there were tons of psychics all over the world and I just didn't know? Back when I was a kid, when that bus accident happened, I managed something that had been pretty known to precognition. For that reason, I couldn't completely rule out its existence. But no matter how much I searched, all I could find was extremely dubious articles about the couple called voodoo shit or whatever else. There was absolutely nothing that proved scientifically whether it existed or not.
一つぐらいあってもいいだろう。
There has to be at least something. Ha ha. Growing increasingly frustrated, I balanced up the weight of the keyboard. I couldn't deal with how anxious not having a conflicting answer made me. Was the world really telling me to give up? To wait there, trembling in fear of demons that might or might not come? I couldn't stay sane like that. Of course, I would vastly prefer to learn that precognition didn't exist, but regardless of what the truth was, I needed to know it badly. Pretty much out of the options, I decided to take a look at Chunsoft cold board. The place was typically home to nothing but total BS noise, lies and misinformation, mainly, but it actually had some pretty mind-blowing and even useful information scattered on it sometimes. Beating by how friendly it was to open up a channel. Then I clicked on the occult board and get a precognition search. And when I did, precognition purposes, Phantasm General, New Gen, 4383. Shittily predicting the future of Japan, precognition thread number 6, 182. Number of dudes who won Fest and Queen of Precognition Rokigurashi in 1967. The Messiah, Peace, Precognition, Discussion, Phantasm, 277. Precognition, Fuck Phantasm, thread number 11. More like Superstition, 431. What do you guys see in the Phantasm Prophetic Songs? Great Precognition, IMO, 59. Why Phantasm are little murderers, but they need to have Precognition, Part 5, 601. If you had precognitive, get your ass into stuff. Rolls GTFO 134. Logging off to Hebrew first purposes precognition IRL part 3 769. Nice. My search pulled up surprising number of threads about 30 of them. Was precognition a hot topic at that channel at the moment? With a gulp, I checked the thread titles one by one.
ファンタズム FES
Phantasm, FES. Most of the threads contain these two keywords. In addition, New Gen discussion had also warmed its way in lots of unsettling terms of prophetic lyrics and murder being used. Having never heard of Phantasm before, I went to Google them. Apparently, they were a Shibuya-based 4-piece gothic punk band that had been doing live concerts recently. They were so popular, in fact, that they were completely dominated the indie music scene, with a female vocalist known only as FES. Anyway, to check whenever it was related to precognition or not, I clicked on the thread at the topic title for Notch Purposes, Phantasm General, New Gen 43. I gave the contents a brief skim. Wow, that's very 2000. Name anonymous purpose, Sage, 2000X, 10/7, Tuesday, 10/24/27. Call me tits everyone, but yeah, let's all do the concert Sunday. Those who would enjoy Fest Summer's Black Mass without any of it go to waste. Miss out any beginning crucifixion treatment. LMFAO. 500. Oh, that was like 525. 526. Name Anonymous Prophet Sage. 2000X 10/7. Tuesday. 10/25/27. I read the lyrics, but it still feels like a sketch. The phrasing is vague as shit. There's no way that they are actual prophecies. If I'm wrong, to have mercy on me, crucifixion killer, lol. Name 527. Name anonymous puppet sage. Tuesday 10 to 40 24. Calling it precognition or prophecy, whatever it is taking it way too far. LMAO. This ain't Nostradamus. So how about you just sit back and enjoy the music for what it is? Best stuff and bad lyrically. But I definitely feel the New Gen connection, to be honest. That was 528, 529. Everyone talks about Fest. If they compare to yo, poor guy's getting no credit. 530. Fest stand, Fest stands lyric forced me to find the meaning of life. It's a trap. 531. Fest starts at all shears. LMAO. 532. Well, to be honest, I want to be insulted by Fest Sama in that chill voice of hers where she grinds her boots into my heart. Like, are you serious? Over and over until it feels like my eyes are gonna fall out of their sockets. It will feel so intoxicating to stop on the edge right at the last moment and so erotic as I wonder if she spit on my face or not. No matter what you think, I want Fest to just take a knife and open my throat, ending my life. I want to be my last breath. To breathe my last breath, she says to me, "You're a nice soul." Jesus! What the? What's wrong with you? What the? What the? Wow. Festan is my wife. 503. They, 534. Replying to 532. Take that to the BDSM thread. Also, Fest is my wife, actually. 535. Stop bumping this shit. 536. 500. This is what you guys mean by New Gen prophecy stuff? O servant, revealed by the light of the moonlight, connect the phantasmal paths which lead to this place. Little did they know the screams will center to silence, and its foes shall fall upon us as we link hand in hand with the wind. By the way, I say fuck phantasm. And then the finger. Like LMAO, their fans are terrifying. You think they were all brainwashed. 537, 536. Lol, now you're gonna get it. 538 to 536. Don't leak the lyrics, dumbass, with a brain stroll. Those lyrics, depending on how you interpret them, they could be seen as referring to the group dive. And yet, those lyrics had been released 2 months ago, which meant they could have been written until after the group dive had occurred.
これが予知ってこと？
Is this recognition? Could it just be a coincidence, or could Phantasm be yet another one of the demon girls underlying? I read the thread in more detail, only to find out that each of the three New Gen incidents had been all been prophesied by Phantasm's lyrics. However, the lyrics for the songs that supposedly prophesied the Manchara crucifixion incidents had not been posted on our channel. Apparently, uploading online was viewed as a taboo of sorts. The philosophy seemed to be, if you really want to know, just go to the concerts and buy an album yourself. Regardless, there were a great number of people online trying to predict the next New Gen gaze based on the songs that Phantasm had performed thus far. And apparently, ever since the New Gen kicked off, Phantasm's albums have been completely selling out. They had been so successful, in fact, that even the mainstream media had picked up on it. Gothic band boasting cult following rises among the youth of Shibuya. News stories like that were popping up all over the place. The one writing the lyrics was the head singer, Fess. Nobody knew her real name. What if Fess was actually the demon girl? If she was, it would explain how she managed to prophesy the incidents literally months before they occurred. The demon girl was the culprit after all. I tried doing an image search, but I couldn't find any good photos of her face. All the pictures were taken by phones during her concert that were so blurry that I couldn't even begin to make out her face.
くそ。
Shit. I wiped my sweat-drenched forehead with the hem of my shirt. I was frustrated, I was scared, I couldn't believe anything, I didn't even want to see anything. Several emotions swirled within me, suffocating me. My breathing hadn't even come close to stabilizing this the entire time. But even so, I knew one thing for certain. I need to see Fest's face. With numbing fingers, I typed in Phantasm's name and clicked on their official website. Phantasm. The site was mostly black, decorated only by the text of uniform deep crimson color. It was unrelenting in its simplicity, and yet it felt so incredibly eerie and strange. There was barely anything on the site at all, just basic information on their concerts and discography. There wasn't even a single image. There were no profiles on the band members, no anything, not on the solo lyrics.
やっぱり犯人だけあってネットに顔写真が流出しないようにしてるのか。
Well, if they were the culprit, they wouldn't want their face on the internet anyway. Talk about thorough. I took a look at their performance schedule and saw that they typically perform about every other week. The next concert was
あさって。
the day after tomorrow. If I went to it, I'd be able to check whenever Fest was the demon girl or not. But even if I did find out they were one and the same, what would that even do? Reported Fest to the police, came back for her to leave me alone, bring a crucifix and an attempt to mock exorcism. Yeah, none of those were gonna happen. I was up against a demon. There was no way in hell an Okataka freak like me could come out on top. Problem is, if I didn't, I'd die. She transformed my corpse into her newest art piece and be posted on the All Things Nugent site as yet another case. Oh wow.
そんなのやだ。
Fuck that. But if I didn't do something, I'd never find out what that picture of me that Shogun had sent really meant. And on the off chance that Fez wasn't connected to the demon girl, maybe I could ask her to help me fight against whatever the demon girl actually was.
だけどやっぱり無理だ。ライブなんて行けるわけがない。
Like that's ever gonna happen. I'd never survive going to a concert. I'd never been to one in my life. That sort of thing was infinitely beyond my comfort zone. Not to mention concert halls were cramped, dark, noisy, and crowded. Just imagining a place like that made me wanna hurl. I was at my wits' end. I had no idea what to do. The chills on the back of my neck still hadn't gone away. The painful, prickling sensation suddenly turned to a burning one. I looked behind me yet again, but like always, nobody was there.
もうやめてよ。
Just stop, please. Like, I mean, like, that can be a precognition because, like, it could be like a murder imitating the song. That also can be true. So, like, it doesn't need to be a precognition. Yeah, but like, like some fans can be relentless, yeah, that's like sure, but like really crazy. But that happens with every fandom, I think. That like you have fans that are super crazy and into it. I closed my eyes tightly, focusing nothing on the waiting for the gaze to disappear. I didn't want to go through this torment for the rest of my life. For all I knew, the gaze would straight up kill me someday.
考えろ、匠。
Think, Takumi.
僕にできることを考えろ。
Oh, Mole, hello. What can I do? Think. I mean, Taku is definitely. Taku is definitely, like not really into socializing. Like I'm reading it through the unofficial patch that fixes the translation and fixes bugs because the developers couldn't be bothered to fix like any issues. They also implemented a menu that was left unfinished. So yeah, that's like it's a very fixed version. Like they even have like it on sale for 50% off. In Steam. Like the novel, but like you are advised to just apply the patch to actually translated and well done experience. They even have like the translation even has karaoke, and you can toggle that off. So it's a pretty cool translation. Like, you know, fan translation. Like the fans basically did fix all of the issues that the novel had. So yeah, I'm excited to read through like what it actually was supposed to be. Yeah, hiding from the shadow of a telephone pole and look at the gigantic concert hall from afar. After agonizing over it all day yesterday, I somehow managed to nut up, nut up, and did what needed to be done. So here it was, Gigantes. It was located on another street in Shibuya, beneath the elevated railroad tracks. It had a very distinct red brick exterior. The exterior was lit up too, giving it an old-fashioned, austere vibe that made it feel like as if it had been transported back in the time of the 50s or something. To think that a spot like this was in Shibuya of all places. I had no idea it even existed until yesterday. It was only 5 minutes from the station of foot, yet there weren't many people at all. Every once in a while, a train would pass over the elevated tracks with a tremendous roar, and yeah, basically, yeah, they didn't even credit the guy who did the translation. And you know what the best part was? The original translation didn't translate certain phrases because, you know, the main character would be speaking in 2010 language, and it would be embarrassing for everybody. The novel takes place in 2009 in Japan. Like, you know, the novel takes place in the year that's why they use, like, you know, the internet slang that was used back then. And the translator said it would be embarrassing to translate a novel that takes place in 2009 using 2009's internet slang. Even though, like, that's how, like, you even have the old Google logo, you know, like, renamed, obviously. Like, you have Yahoo there, you have, like, YouTube, YouTube, you know, like, you have everything. So, like, you know, they didn't even credit the translator, and the CGs weren't even translated. They just like written like a text on the Japanese phrases. Like, they didn't take a time to retranslate the images, and the chat fixes, like the fan patch fixes that. They retranslated all of the CGs, like recreated them, retranslation, all of the tips. You know, like, it's beyond translation. Even the bugs. I couldn't use a mouse with this release. Like, the mouse straight up didn't work because they programmed it as like as a tie to a monitor refresh rate for some reason. Oh yeah, and the videos are actually encoded in a MPEG-1 codec, a codec from 20 years ago. Even though the format supports like more modern formats and more efficient compression formats for HD. MPEG-1 for HD video. For comparison, DVD was MPEG-2. So yeah, they literally stuck an old-ass format that didn't even know the concept of HD video and encoded HD videos with it. Like, I like, it's so inept that, like, the initial release couldn't even be completed because they accidentally renamed like a file name wrong. They ship it that way. I don't even know how that happened, but like, the original release was so rough, and then they just didn't do any testing, like, at all. They just shipped that, and they fixed only the file names being wrong. That's the only patch. Oh yeah, and the DLC was censored, so the patch uncensors the DLC. It was the swimsuit DLC, and there was like one particular swimsuit that wasn't that was still like censored but not fully, so they just cut it out, so the patch restores that. I don't have the DLC outfit selected, but like, because I want to experience the novel without, you know, fan service. But like, yeah, you had censorship, in-app scripting, in-app programming, and it was like released half a year ago, and it's 50% off now. When the patch released, it had the biggest number of players playing it on Steam. Like, overall, like, people just didn't like play it until after the patch release. So like, it had like so absurd of a new. It was madness. So yeah, that's why I hold off like multiple months to read this so that I actually can, read it fixed and yeah, no patch by the way. Like no patch, just no patch because the publisher wanted to do the patch, but the developer said no. The developer said it's fine as is. So the publisher, even though the publisher even sent out a survey asking, do you want to play with the patch? Yeah. Like, do you want to play with the fan patch? Were you satisfied with the translation and everything? And that was a publisher survey, so like, which was Spike Chunsoft, so like, you know, it was madness. Like the whole VN was so mismanaged. Like that went beyond censorship. So it's probably the worst one I have seen so far. Anyway, so yeah, just to make it clear how bad it was. It was only 5 minutes from the station for there weren't many people at all. Even once in a while, a train would pass over the elevated tracks with a tremendous roar, and the telephone pole I was hiding behind would tremble slightly, but that was about it. Just a moment ago, there had been a bunch of what appeared to be phantasmal fans in front of Gigantes. Someone they were wearing outfits so out there, it almost mistaken them for cosplayers. However, what surprised me the most was that there were honestly not that many of them. Despite being such a huge topic online, there must have been no more than 100 people there. Regardless, they were all inside the building now. The concert had already begun, but since none of the audio managed to bleed outside, it suddenly didn't feel like it. My heart palpitations had gone away after I'd fallen asleep yesterday, but they'd come back with a vengeance the second I'd arrived in front of the venue. It'd been so hard to breathe. I almost thought it was dealing with some kind of heart failure. But really, I knew exactly why it was so bad. This place was filled with a thick and impenetrable darkness. The demon girl and her underlings could be lurking around any corner. Knowing that, I'd been on the lookout for anyone that might attack me ever since I got here. The sheer anxiety and paranoia was comparable to what it felt like going through the once volcano dungeon in ESO. Mobs in the once volcano dungeon were OP as hell, and it was surrounded by the kind of lava that insta-killed you if you so much as clipped it with your pinky toe. That shit could have been playtested. The amount of times I died there, holy hell. Hey, no playtesting, just like this novel. I wiped the sweat on my forehead with a hand towel and gulped down a gob of saliva. Right as I did, the door at the top of the stairs opened, and the furious beating of drums reverberated from inside Gigantes for a few seconds. A single guy exited from the door. He jogged nimbly down the stairs and then toward me. Okay.
Yo, Taku. Matta ka?
Oh my god, it's the horny best friend. Sup, Taku, been waiting long? I had invited Misumi-kun to go into the venue with me, as I didn't know his phone number. I'd been forced to go to school today just to ask him to go. If he hadn't come with me, I probably wouldn't have even made it this far. And even if I'd somehow forced myself to go into the building alone, if the demon girl was there, it would be a certified game over. So I had Misumi-kun operate as a scout. I didn't feel bad about throwing him into the line of fire, so obviously, I hadn't told him about that part. The only people I could rely on were him and Nanami, so I picked the less annoying of the two, Misumi. I even covered his ticket cost, so in a sense, you could say I'd hired him for 1,000 yen.
ほらよ、これ CD な。俺自分の分も買っちまったよ。
Right, here's your CD. I grabbed one by myself too. Misumi handed me a Phantasm album. They were being sold for an outrageous premium in online auctions. What I'd heard on our channel that they were also available at their concert, so I'd asked. Misumikan to buy one for me. And now that I had one, I'd achieved half the goal I set out for myself. As for the remaining half,
いやー、予想以上にいいな、ファンタズムって。
honestly though, they're way better than I thought they'd be. Phantasm, I mean. Misumikan had been acting pretty excited ever since he'd excited the venue.
俺、あんまミーハーになりたくなかったんで聞こうとしなかったんだけどよ。今日ちょっと生で聞いただけでファンになっちまった。
Never listened to them before, cause you know me, I'm no sheep. Besides, I figured they were overhyped, but just that little bit I heard just now was enough to make me a real fan. My god. It's like... true fan, right? Oh gosh. The other thing I'd asked Pisimikum to do was to report anything in particular that stood out about the band members. I knew that they would all come out on stage once the concert started, so all I'd wanted him to do was a quick scan, then head back to me right after. And yet, despite my very specific instructions, he hadn't come back for a full 5 minutes after the show started. This was probably because he'd listened to the entirety of the first song.
特にボーカル、ありゃマジでいい女だぜ。
And dude, the singer, fine ass woman right there.
お前、女見る目あるな。
You've got some good taste, my man. I sighed internally, thinking with the wrong head as usual. Why was I even surprised? So much for I'm no sheep.
どんな人だった？
What she'd look like.
ああ、そっか。報告な。なんか探偵みてえで面白いな。そう思わねえ？
Alright, the report. I dig this, by the way. Kinda feels like I'm addicted for some shit, you know? Misumikum grinned to himself, and I pressed him again to tell me about Fesso's appearance.
髪型はショートカットだった。
Well, for starters, she has short hair. Huh? And just like that, there was already a huge discrepancy. Did that mean Fess wasn't the demon girl? No, wait, I couldn't let myself jump to conclusions here. She could have cut her hair, or she could have used hair extensions, or she could have changed it in some other way. It wouldn't surprise me if she'd been in disguise when I'd seen her at the crime scene.
スタイルがすっげえ良くて、あと背が高かったな。ありゃ俺と同じぐらいはあるんじゃねえの？
She had the hottest real hourglass type shit, and she was tall too. Might even be the same height as me.
背が
She's tall, and the same height as you. Miss Simigam and I were about the same height, which meant Fez was probably around 170 centimeters tall. Pretty tall for a girl. But I hadn't gotten that impression at all when I encountered the demon girl. My memories from back then were hazy, but it still felt like the demon girl had been shot at me. Yet another thing that didn't line up then.
他には
Anything else?
そうだな。アンニュイな雰囲気してたな。
Oh yeah, she had this little aloof vibe to her. Too cool for school type thing.
声はクールってイメージかな。結構ボソボソと喋るタイプだった。
The way she spoke had a big part in that. She's the kind of girl to talk in whispers.
胸のサイズはまあまあ。
As for the tits, she doesn't have much going on. Okay, sure.
でもゴスパンの服は妙な色気があったぜ。ああいうのもありだな。断然あり。
But that goth outfit that made up for it. It was crazy how hot it was. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Oh god damn it. Every single word he said was completely fucking useless. Then again, I'd only gotten a quick look at the demon girl, so I couldn't exactly lose her features. This plan was probably doomed for the start.
っていうかよ。そんなにフェスに興味あるなら自分の目で見ればいいじゃねえか。ほら、行こうぜ。
I mean, he's like how Yovska would be if Persona 4 was like 18 plus. But anyway, since you're so interested in Fest, you really ought to take a look for yourself. Let's hit it. Huh? Miss Simigan began to push me from behind, forcing me up the stairs to Gigantes. I desperately tried to fight back, but Miss Simigan was stronger than me. I couldn't get away. Wait,
見たいんだろフェスの顔を。素直になるって。
you wanna see Fess's face, right? Come on, be honest.
浮気ってのは男の差がだよな。タクも大人になったもんだぜ。
Fooling around with other chicks a big part of man's life. Taku, my boy. You're finally becoming a man. What?
この前一緒に帰ってたメガネの子のことは今夜だけは気にすんなって。俺も田中のことは忘れるからよ。
Just pretend that glasses girl you went home with the other day doesn't exist. I'll be forgetting about Tanaka tonight myself. What the hell was he talking about? I tried to stand my ground and fight back, but to my horror, I realized that I was already at the top of the stairs. While it was only the second floor, if I were to slip and fall, it would hurt like hell. Just the thought made me stop resisting as hard. And in that moment of weakness, my entire body weight was sent crashing down the door and into the venue. Oh, a concert, nice. The second I hit inside, an explosion of sound blasted my eardrums. I've never experienced something so loud before. Even the pit of my stomach was being forcibly shaken by vibrations. It was so intense, it felt as if my entire body was being crushed to pieces. There were no seats in the venue. Everyone was standing up to watch. They were all rocking their bodies in rhythm with each other, shouting fast, 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 as if their fists shot up and down, still nowhere near the level of a Vortage performance though. The heat was devastating. It made me want to vomit. I may have been an otaku, but I was definitely not the type to obsess over idols or voice actors. Honestly, I hated this kind of atmosphere. I could tell that I stuck out like a sore thumb, but thankfully, nobody was paying any attention to me. There were so many people in front of me, I could barely see the stage at the far end of the room, just the blind stage lights and the faint figures of 4 people standing under them. As I was getting overwhelmed by everything happening around me, Miss Miku handed me a plastic cup of soda. Seemed like Miss Miku had paid for my ticket too. I'd have to make sure to pay him back later. Okay. Before I knew it, the song was over. The audience clapped and cheered. Then, having seemingly calmed down a little, everyone brought down their fists. Thanks to that, the road to the stage finally opened up, and I was able to see it clearly. I got a good look at the short-haired girl standing in the middle of the stage. She was definitely not the demon girl.
今日はいつもより調子いいわ。
Your tune is better than usual today.
声がクリアに聞こえる。
I can hear your voices clearly.
世界がとても澄んでいる。
The world is very translucent. The voice coming through the amp sounded nothing like the demon girl that had said those cryptic words to me. Miss Miku was right. Fess definitely had a aloof vibe to her. Despite her short hair, she didn't feel boyish. She gave out this mysterious aura with a mix of charm, allure, and a hint of distance. And to top it all off, the silver accessories she was wearing all glittered fantastically as they reflected the lights. It felt like I was starting to understand why there were so many threads about her on our channel. In this kind of concert, I once thought that the band members would be more energetic, but Fess seemed incredibly indifferent during the intermission. She was pretty much the exact opposite of the excited audience. Maybe that was just the type of person she was. But it seemed like the audience wasn't surprised by that. She just stayed silent during the break, listening closer to Fess's words.
呼吸と性の門が閉じているからかもしれない。
Perhaps is it that the gate of Coquietus has been closed. I'm sorry, but Coquietus, what language was she even speaking?
世界の均衡は大いなる意志が生まれてから数千年間保たれていた。
The world equilibrium has been maintained for millennia since the birth of the greater will. I can't get away from SMTM persona even in this. Like, come on. You know.
でも今、それは崩れつつある。とても不安定。
Like, I mean, like, I usually find something that is referencing a SMTO persona, even when I'm not playing a SMTO persona. It's like, however, now it's crumbling. It's so It is so very unstable.
だから私は歌うわ。
And thus I shall sing.
君たちのカオスを受け入れてあげる。
I shall accept your chaos. Yeah, this is an assembly, holy, Great will, chaos. Now we need only neutral, and we have all of the alignments there. It's like, wow. Oh, I guess their banner got put banned, so the band members probably had characters that they played. Maybe it was an easy win to win over the hearts of fans. Just spelled some random nonsense that hinted that it might mean something, giving it enough mystique to keep people engrossed. Speaking of mystique, Fess was holding something strange in her hand. In her left hand was a plain old mic, but in the other, she was holding some sort of weirdly shaped mic stand. It looked kind of like a sword. It was shaped so elegantly, it felt sinister. It looked so sharp that if you so much gazed at it, it would slice your finger in two. It was huge too, as tall as Fess in fact. There were also lines of glass embedded into it, which glowed with an ominous blue light. I couldn't tell if it was a really sword or not, but it wasn't half bad as a character accessory. No complaints there. I was strangely captivated by it. Then, using only her right arm, Fess casually lifted the huge mic stand. And with an underhand grip, she swung it sideways. The blue light from the glass drew a wide arc with its afterglow. What the hell? That was so dangerous. What if it hit someone in the crowd? That wasn't a mic stand. Could it be a sword? And every night she would use it to cut throat of some poor audience member, harvesting blood to offer to the demon girl or something. So was this concert actually some sort of black mass organized by a bunch of witches? A fierce chill ran down my spine just thinking about it. Goosebumps covered my entire body. I should really get out here ASAP, but the moment I thought that, Fess let out a gentle whisper.
次は3曲目。
Up next, our third song of the night is
密教の首飾り。
the necklace of Vajrayana. Vajrayana. The cow let out a huge cry of joy upon hearing them. A moment later, the members of Fantasy all started playing, and the second floor sound poured into my ears. A thousand thunderous roar came from the speakers. A roar that felt like it was going to blow out my eardrums. How had these people not gone deaf yet, hanging out in places like this all the time? Looking into my side, I noticed Miss Miko was pulling into it, pumping his fist and singing with the rest of the audience. The intro ended, Fess began to sing, and when I heard the lyrics, I swallowed hard. She was singing the prophetic song that had been posted all over NoAH. It was a dark piece that didn't feel like the slightest bit optimistic. Even its melody felt like a religious psalm, and the lyrics definitely didn't help. Everyone was getting riled up at first, but as the song went on, the excitement dropped further and further, and by the end, everyone just stood there, not saying a word. But that was because everyone was fully lost in the sound. Some of them just stared at Fess, completely entranced. There was definitely something about Fess singing, a voice that captivated people. Even as I battled in fear and nausea, in the middle of the crowd, I found myself listening very closely to her song, not wanting to miss it. Goosebumps sprang all over me. For a moment, it felt like the air itself had frozen over. The song ended. Fess was looking down at the stage, swaying her body from side to side as she soaked in the last echoes of the music. And then she suddenly looked back up, and without even gazing around for a second, she instantly looked at me. And wasn't she just glanced in the general direction of my eyes, or like she briefly made eye contact with me or anything like that. Fez was blatantly looking right at me. I'd even go as far as to say she was staring at me, fixedly, as if evaluating my existence, as if searching deep within my heart. Her gaze was all too intense, and yet, somehow, she seemed a little sad. Before I knew it, I was rushing outside. I ran down the stairs outside Gigantes and crouched down on the bottom step. I tried my hardest to catch my breath and calm down, but to no little avail. They really shouldn't have gone there. My head was pounding. My entire body was drenched in sweat.
おい、どうしたんだよ、タク。いきなり飛び出して。
Hey, what's going on, Taku? Why'd you run off? Mr. Mikam had followed me. He sounded upset.
もう出ちまうのかよ。これからさらに盛り上がりそうだったのに。
Are you leaving already? The real party hasn't even started yet.
で、どうだよ、フェスは。可愛かったろ。
Well, anyway, what do you think of Fess? Pretty cute, right? Without looking up at him, I shook my head. Who cared about that? Sure, she was cute, but I wasn't into 3D girls, and more than anything, those lyrics. I hadn't caught everything, but from the little I'd heard, there was no way they hadn't been talking about the new gen cases. Of course, there was no definitive proof. But Fess definitely knew something. I could feel it. I couldn't tell whether or not she'd fought for the demon girl though. The girl, now dyed a brilliant red, looks bad from beneath a full moon. But I mean, she looked straight at me. That hadn't been a delusion, and it wasn't a misunderstanding on my part either. There was no doubt of it. Fess had looked at me. Just what were the emotions swelling in her eyes? What meaning did they hold? Why had her expression looked so painful? I didn't know. Maybe I'd find out if I asked her directly, but that could never happen. I couldn't set foot in a concept venue ever again, let alone speak with Fess.
もう二度と来るもんか。
I'm never coming here again. Wiping the sweat of my forehead, I managed to squeeze out those words. I logged straight onto ESO, and as soon as I got back from the Phantasm concert, the potato chips I had with me were already soggy, but I couldn't care less. They were still surprisingly tasty. Soggy potato chips. The me ESO was my life. It was my happy place, a breath of fresh air that let me forget all about the real world. As long as I could immerse myself in ESO, I could forget all about all of my troubles. I could stop being me and instead wander Barcelona's Nightheart. But today, for some reason, Nightheart was a little off. Yes, I knew that he relied entirely on my inputs and conditioning, but somehow I found myself struggling to pull off things I could normally do with my eyes closed. The game was supposed to be a breath of fresh air, but today, the more I played it, the more irritated I got.
なんだよこいつ。
What the fuck, dude?
捨てるぞお前。
I'm gonna fucking delete you, I swear to God. I knew it was all my fault, but I still took my anger out on Nightheart.
ああもうムカつく。
Ah, god damn it, I'm so fucking pissed off. I yanked at my hair. I kicked the bare steel wall. Having let out all of my anger, I took a deep breath and sank back down in my chair. I stared vacant at my monitor. Neither was just standing there, facing towards the gate of the city of Shangri-La, free of my control. His back was facing toward me, just as it always was when I fought enemies, and of course he was at the maximum level.
僕の経験値っていくつなんだろう。
I wonder what level I am. Had the human known as Nichijou Takumi leveled up even slightly since he had started playing ESO? No, since he'd been born? If I had, then why was I still so bad at talking to people, even though I was nearly an adult? Why was I a borderline shut-in? If I didn't log in as Nightheart for weeks, would he also turn into a shut-in like me? Whose eyes are those eyes? I suddenly remembered those words as I stared at Nightheart's back. I was mildly interested in what Neidhart would do when I wasn't controlling him, so figuring and observing for a little bit, I left my keyboard alone as I ate some
も
chips.
しナイトハルトに自我があるとしたら
If Neidhart had his own ego, then surely he'd boils right into the city of Shangri-La, wind blowing against his shoulders, right? He was the hero everyone worshipped, after all.
ねえナイトハルト
Hey, Neidhart.
僕はいつでもお前を見てるんだぞ
I'm always looking at you, you know?
お前はそれに気づいてるの
You are aware of that? And then, without me even touching the keyboard, Neidhart, who had been standing with his back to me, suddenly turned toward me. Or so it felt. Lololololo.
なんつって
Like that ever happened. In the end, I stayed vacant near the monitor for over an hour, but Neidhart stayed completely still the entire time. I'll tell you exactly what happened. I reluctantly decided to go to school today. Before I knew it, I found myself going to buy a phone with my little sister. I'm sure you don't understand what I'm saying, but I don't really understand it either. I thought I was going insane.
お兄何ブツブツ言ってんの
Huh? What were you mumbling about, big bro?
それよりほらこの機種はどうかって聞いてるんだけど
Well, either way, I asked you what do you think of this one, so what do you think? I think I wanna go home. Besides, how many times do I have to tell you that you don't need a cell phone? God, it hurts having a sister this brain dead. When I'd gone to school today, Nanami had made her assault right in my classroom. After happy to say, "Wow, you actually came to school today," she ordered me to go and buy a phone with her once school was over. Once the bell rang, I tried to escape without her noticing, but I'd forgotten how quick Nanami was on her feet. So after being chased and easily caught up to, I found myself being dragged all the way to the front of the station. I didn't want to go anywhere near the station, and I felt like that the whole way there, even though I already felt like I was gonna throw up. Nanami, though, not giving a damn about what I felt, was busy admiring the many different models on display in front of the store. I tried to wrap my head around why exactly Nanami was so insistent about getting me a phone, but I just got a headache instead.
これ色が結構可愛いじゃんいいと思うな
Hey, here, look at this one. Isn't it such a cute color? You should get this one. Since she was asking for my opinion, I gave a simple
それ
reply.
っていい
That's fine.
うんでもなお兄にはちょっと可愛すぎかも似合わなさそう
Actually, it might be a bit too cutesy for you. It doesn't really fit you, you know? See, it didn't even matter what I said. That would happen regardless. I'd completely lost track how many times I'd said, "That's fine" by this point. She would ask for my opinion, but she didn't actually intend to listen to it. This was exactly why 3D girls took so much ass.
お兄大丈夫やっぱり人の多さにやられちゃった
Is everything okay, big bro? Are the crowds getting to you?
マクディで休もうか
How about we take a break at McD? McD, the fucking prime hanging spot for DQNs. That place was hell incarnate. I violently shook my head no.
そっかじゃあなるべく早めに決めるねでもちょっと迷っちゃってさ
Oh my gosh. I mean, the editing is fun, but it's just wow. Gotcha. Well, hurry up and pick one out then. I'm still mixed between this one and this one. I sighed, decided to just leave Nanami behind and go home. While Nanami intensely examined the array of cell phones, I took my chance and slipped away. Right as I turned toward 107, I saw something so strange. It stopped me dead in my tracks. What was that? Across the crowds of people, on the steps to 107, stood a girl that stuck out like a sore thumb. Was she holding a sword? The color and aura it gave off felt similar to the mic stand Pez had been using at a concert. In fact, I'd said it was perfectly fair to think of them in the same way. But even then, it was still one massive sword. It might have been even longer than Pez's mic stand. To my surprise, the girl was wearing a swimming uniform. I couldn't make out her face from this distance, despite holding something so conspicuous. The girl seemed relaxed as could be. She seemed to watch the people walk down the street from atop the stairs. Talk about bravery, I was seriously impressed. I couldn't believe she was walking around right smack in the middle of Shibuya with the massive toy sword. Must have had one hell of a humiliation fetish. Was the sword a cosplay prop for some new anime? Then again, I was pretty familiar with all the anime that were airing. Was there really a series with a sword like that? Had it slipped under my radar? Of course, walking around Shibuya holding one would be too much for me, but the sword itself was pretty damn cool. Can I get one to get one, honestly? I wondered if I could get one in Akiba. Even better, if I could order it online.
Oni?
Big brow! I was suddenly struck with an elbow to the back. The pain almost made me black out and collapse on the spot. I turned around to find Nanami with her hands on her hips, sullen as I could be.
もしかして逃げようとした？
Were you trying to run away from me?
確かにナナが選ぶのに時間かけすぎたのは悪いと思うけどさ。
I know I took way too long to decide. I'm sorry for that, but
だからってナナを置き去りにして逃げようとするなんてひどいよ。
that doesn't mean you can just go and leave me behind. Don't you realize how mean that is? I lazily shook my head from side to side.
お兄のバカ、携帯の電磁波の浴びすぎで腎臓を悪くして死んじゃえ。
You big jerk! I hope your phone hits you with so many EM waves that you die of fear. My god, that's even meaner, bro. The fuck was hurting you?
一生懸命お兄のために選んであげてたナナがバカみたいじゃん。
Now I feel like an idiot for trying so hard to pick the right phone for you.
こうなったらもう適当に決める。お兄なんてナナと同じ機種で十分だよ。
So I'm not even gonna try anymore. The same model as mine is good enough for a jerk on me. Nanami forcefully grabbed my arm.
本気で今日契約するんだからね。それまで絶対逃がさない。
I'll make sure you sign the contract today if it's the last thing I do. And until that phone is in your hands, you're not going anywhere.
わかったよ。話せよ。
I get it already. Let go of me.
分かったならさっさと来て。
Okay, then hurry up and move your butt. I didn't have a clue why Nanami had gotten so worked up. She really was a pain in the ass. Alright. In the end, Nanami picked out a model with ease, as if she just hadn't spent 10 years trying to choose. After spending around an hour on the contract and all the technical stuff, I tried to finally head back home with my phone, but Nanami stopped me.
ナナが初期設定してあげるからマクディやろ。
I'll set the phone up for you, so why don't we stop by McD? Without waiting for a response, she grabbed me by the back of my collar and started dragging me to the nearest McD against my
どうせお兄携帯持って帰っても電源入れずにほったらかしにするに決まってるんだから。
Knowing you, you'll just check your phone into a random corner of your room without ever bothering to turn it on.
ナナがちゃんと使えるようにしてあげる。
So I'll make things nice and easy for you. God damn it, how much longer was she planning to hold me hostage? And out of all of the places she could have chosen to do it, why McD? The inside of the Shibuya's McD was the embodiment of chaos. There were shitloads of people and none of them ever shut the hell up. The sheer amount of DQs were off the charts. At a table right next to us sat three DQs, dear mothers with dyed brown hair, and to make things even better, they brought their kids with them. They just left their children, three little crotch goblins, with the red highlights, to be specific, to run around the restaurant, squealing their heads off, and instead of controlling them, they just kept on chatting away. On a different table, was yet another group of DQs, this time made up of 4 high school guys and laughing like obnoxious pricks. Next, 2 high school girls, complete with baggy socks and tight brown hair, sat opposite each other, hyper-focused on their phones. They didn't even bother talking. Beside him was a snoring middle-aged businessman slumped down on his table, making it pretty obvious that he was skipping out on work. But what really made me double take was this table, closed by a group of 5 elementary schoolers, some boys, some girls. They all sat with their little school bags on the floor, happily chatting it up with each other as their legs swung back and forth beneath the table. So, considering that it was a co-ed, was it a mixer? It was, wasn't it? Weren't they elementary schoolers? Well, regardless, the point is that as far as the eye could see, they were groups of people that they wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Nanami had no problem at all relaxing in a place like this. Me, on the other hand, just setting foot in here, only certain though to make my headache and nausea 1,000 times worse. Wait, why the hell did I have to play along with my sister and stay in here in the first place? Hey, what are you gonna do for your ringtone? Got anything in mind? Without even looking in my direction, Nanami played around with my phone as if she prodded me for an answer.
Anisong.
Pick an anime song. Overruled. This is exactly why everyone calls you a nerd, bro. I mean, if you really want an anime song, why you just don't set up the phone yourself? Like, you know, like, just pick it up, like get the cable from it, and just get the ringtone. Like if you can, I don't know if you could like answer songs, but if you could like get an MP3 on there, then or like if it was just MIDI, then I guess you could just grab a MIDI from the internet. You're the one asking me what I prefer. Come on, it's my phone, so at least let me pick what I want. Oh, I know. How about we use the new Omura Carrera song? It's one of my jams. It's so good. Yeah, no, that's overruled. Yeah, I guess you're right. You're not really an Omura Carrera kind of guy anyway. Haha. After showing how little they actually care about what I thought, Nanami took a bite of one of her french fries. I should probably mention that this bitch asked for a fish sandwich combo before dinner, one that I had to pay for. I, meanwhile, was feeling so garbage that my appetite was long gone. Piece of shit sister spoiling her and her appetite and mine. Fucking bullshit. Yeah, aside from that. For whatever reason, Nanami placed her back on her lap and started digging through its contents. Well tight put it. Or here it is. Then she proudly took out a defective Gyro Froggy. It's not defective. It's the goggling Gyro Froggy that came out last week.
Huh?
The what? You didn't know? You really do live under a rock. They release a new Gyro Froggy every Friday. They've made 12 different ones so far. Seriously? Was there really enough demand for weekly releases? The one that I have on my phone is the first one, the ordinary girl. After there was the fatty Gyro Froggy, then the ragged Gyro Froggy. Without skipping a beat, Nanami recited the names of the various Gyro Froggies.
第4弾がのっぺらゲロカエルンで、第5弾が輝くゲロカエルン。
4 was the smooth Gear Froggy, 5th was the shining Gear Froggy,
第6弾が一番人気があって猫ゲロカエルンっていうの。
and 6th was the most popular, the cat Gear Froggy.
その後が幽霊ゲロカエルン、眠るゲロカエルン、燃えるゲロカエルン、ゾンビゲロカエルン、酔っ払いゲロカエルン。
Then came the spooky Gear Froggy, the sleepy Gear Froggy, the burning Gear Froggy, the zombie Gear Froggy, the drunk Gear Froggy. How the hell did she remember all those? Hang on, had she?
お前コンプリートしてるの？
Have you collected all of them?
もちろんだよ。全部集めなきゃ意味ないもん。
Well, duh. There's no point if they don't collect them all.
毎週買うのに行列ができるんだからね。
That's why there's such a huge line to buy one every week. For a half-assed piece of garbage like that, to be honest, if I could have shit out of that. Wait, why had she even decided to select me a Gear Froggies to begin with?
というわけで、このギョロリゲロカエルンあげる。
So yeah, I'm giving you this Gear. Goggling Gear Froggy.
なんで？
Huh? Oh, why?
このストラップを携帯につければ、少しは女子から「お、やるな」っていう目で見てもらえるから。
If you hang it on your phone, I bet you some of the girls at school will give you the goggly eyes themselves. After saying that, Nanami started to put the snap on my phone. I didn't want that, the fuck?
コンプしなきゃ意味ないんだろ。
There's no point if we don't collect them all, right?
僕がそれもらったらお前揃わないぞ。
If you give me that, your collection won't be complete.
心配しなくても大丈夫。2つ買ったもん。
Oh, don't worry about that, I bought two.
毎回2つ買ってるのか？
Do you buy it two every time, or? I was starting to seriously doubt your aesthetic taste.
今回だけだよ。お兄の携帯用に余分に買ったの。
Nah, just this time. I bought an extra one for you and your phone, big bro.
わざわざ。
Purposefully.
わざわざ。
Purposefully. Having now finished attaching the strap, Nanami gave a satisfied nod before wrapping her mouth around her soda straw. Then she suddenly leaned forward, startling me.
別に並んだのはお兄のためじゃないよ。
Although it's not like I stood in line just for you or anything.
あくまでついでなんだから。
I just did it because I could, that's all.
いらない。
I don't want it.
は
What? Still leaning forward, Nanami opened her eyes wide. She looked she might throttle me at any moment.
あ、いらないって。ナナがわざわざ買ってきてあげたのに。
You didn't want it, even though I purposely went out of my way to buy it for you.
ついでだったんだろ。
You said you just did it because you
っていう
could.
か僕ゲロカエルとか興味ないし、むしろキモいし。
Besides, I don't care about Gear Froggies. If anything, I think they look horrible.
だからお兄は女子にモテないんだよ。
This is why you're not popular with girls, big bro. I'd almost expected her to slap me, but surprisingly, Nanami managed to rein in her temper and sit back down. Then instead taking her anger out on me, she started nibbling on a fry instead as she saw.
でも抵抗しても無駄だからね。ギョロリゲロカエルンもうくっつけちゃったもん。
Well, it's not like there's any point in resisting. I've already put it on after all. She sure was acting like the queen of everything. Then again, I knew jack shit about cell phones, so it was true that I knew best he.
もし勝手に外したら毎週並んでもらうの刑だからね。
And if you even think about taking it off, you'll be the one standing in the vehicle line, got it?
並ぶって何に？
Vehicle line? For what exactly?
決まってんじゃん。新作ゲロカエルンを買うための行列。2時間待ちとか普通だから。
Hello? So you can buy the new Gear Froggy? The whole thing usually takes just a couple hours. Not a chance in hell. No way I was gonna let my sister hit me with a thread like that. For a while after that, Nanami wordlessly continued to fiddle around with my phone. I wasn't particularly picky about whatever she was setting up, so I was honestly grateful for the silence.
なんだか変な気分だな。
To be honest, this all feels kinda strange. The next time she opened her mouth, her soul and the meaning from before had completely disappeared. I guess she only needed a few minutes to forget annoying shit instead of having to sleep it off. Talk about easy going. In a way, I envied her.
うん、やっぱ変だよ。
Yep, it really is strange.
お兄とこうして二人で出かけるのって久しぶりな気がするもん。
It feels like we haven't gone out like this in forever, big bro.
いつ以来かな。よく思い出せないや。
I wonder when the last time we did something like that was. I actually can't remember.
お兄はいつも部屋にこもってアニメ見てるかゲームしてるかだもんね。
You always cooped up in your room watching anime and playing games, so I guess it happens.
ま、たまにはこういうのもいいかな、新鮮で。
But yeah, doing this every once in a while is nice. Gonna shake things up, you know.
さすがに毎日はナナも嫌だけど。
It definitely sucked doing this every day though, even for me. Nanami placed my phone on the table and picked up her fish sandwich. She happily undid the wrapping and then happily slung her TV. Come to think of it, I feel like she said on one point that the fish sandwich here was her favorite food.
せいぜい太るがいいさ。
Have fun getting fat, cow. Nanami instead stopped moving. She glared at me menacingly. Then after hesitating for a second, she bashfully held out her half-eaten fish sandwich.
半分食べる？
Want the other half?
もう手遅れだよ。うん。
You're already too late there.
そういうこと言うと上司に嫌われるって覚えといた方がいいよ、バカ鬼。
Saying stuff like that, will make all the girls hate you. Kyoki better keep that in mind, you big jerk. Nanami ended up finishing the fish sandwich all of her own. What a fucking fat ass. Okay. Wow. After that, Nanami held me hostage with hours of useless chatter, and by the time I finally had my phone back, it was already dark. It had been a long, painful few hours, but eventually, I was able to get away from Nanami and start heading back home. Fall seemed to be in full swing now, with the night breeze carrying a slight chill, one that soothed my headache and nausea. Those two things never failed to torment me whenever I spent a long time in crowds. Honestly, Nanami, KYS. Okay, don't actually, but still, KYS. She only ever thought about herself. She probably didn't even have a clue about how much torture she constantly inflicted on me. If I had the option, I'd love to stab my new clone clean in half right now and throw it in the nearest trash can. It wasn't like I'd bought it with my own money after all. But if I actually did that, it wouldn't just be Nanami that'd come to my base, but my parents too. And then without picking up on damn things, they'd just go, "Oh, since it broke on you, let's go and buy you a new one," like the idiots they were. Thus, I reluctantly suppressed my urge just to smash the damn thing. I needed to get home and quickly. I could hear another night of VSO calling my name. Not a single day that had passed recently that hadn't filled me with endless anxiety. I really hope my peaceful everyday life would hurry up and come back already. On that night, another grotesque case occurred, the Fort Nugent case. Like always, Grim laid out the details to me when I was playing ESO. Sup, Grim? A bit later than usual today, eh? Whose eyes are those eyes? I couldn't believe my eyes. Why did Grim know that phrase? I was completely taken aback, my fingers trembled on the keyboard. I didn't even know where to start with responding. Hell, even just looking at what he typed nearly took out everything out of me. The Fort Nugent case happened. Been following the shitstorm the whole time. Things be really heating up in Shibuya. This one's seriously fucking crazy, dude, lol. The victim's corpse had all of the blood completely drained out. Then found him dead in the cashier station bathroom. And the corpse was literally something. The skin had turned green all over. Freaky. Seriously, goddamn freaky. Lately I've been thinking what they call occult theories, maybe even the truth, to be honest. I bit my lip as much as the messages flowed. My imagination came very close to forming an image, but I was just barely able to keep that delusion at bay. I took a gulp of cola from the bottle to calm myself somewhat. Damn that Grim, he had to be ambushing me like this on purpose. Eh? No reaction? Oh, there's no way a person could do this. No reaction? How do you know so much about it? You're talking almost like if you were there. Well, something like that. Also, I guess you're still not interested in the stuff Nightheart, Eugene and all that jazz? Not enough to follow it. Too busy grinding in ESO. Never change or lighting fast Nightheart. A true video game addict. That puts the rest of us to shame. I didn't really want to talk about Nugent, so I somehow managed to forgive him to bring the topic to an end. That's why I love you. That's why we are married. By the way, take a 100% look at this. There's an auction. What do you think? I'm sensing some a serious bait. Last time he done this, he'd acted like it was some gory shit, only for it to be some random dumbass meme. This time could very well be the opposite. Huh? You seriously don't know about it? About what? Yeah. Are you actually a wrong side of Nightheart? Fuck off. Fine, what is it? What if I said it's related to your brother's Seratan? For real? Then I had to look. As far as I could tell, the URL looked like it linked to some auction page, so it probably wouldn't crash my browser or hit me with anything mentally scarring. Slightly excited, I opened the link. Nippon Taboo Auctions. Type B in short supply. Place a bid. Bidding starts at 40,000. Jesus. Starting price, and there's like a payment method, time left, like Yahoo Auctions, but Taboo, obviously. Huh? Type B in blood in short supply. It felt like I'd seen that title somewhere before. Might have been the deja vu again. Anyway, more importantly, where did Fab already say that dumping? I spun my mouse wheel and scrolled down the page. I could tell at a glance that the image, that the image that came up on my monitor was obviously gore. I averted my gaze to my left monitor in a panic, then quickly closed the browser. Huh? The gore had only been on my screen for less than 3 seconds, and the time I spent actually looking at it was even less than that, but even so. It's a picture of the course before using it, from before the mass media. It being solo action is not any normal. It's like the Pokemon Prince of Piggin's that state itself. So basically, it's 100% the neutral copy. Isn't that insane? The seller name is Vampire. Well, actually, which is probably some just throwaway. Even so, it's caused total shitstorm online. Been posted all over tons of image boards. There's even memes. It's like Rule 34. People do this shit way too fast, man. Like, wow. Oh yeah, did you notice that message? The dying message? It's written on the wall with the victim's blood. Still can't believe it's there. The copy probably did it for shits and giggles. Oh hello! Nightheart-san, you live? Is you come frozen? Dying message. I've only seen the image for an instant and yet...
ゲームだ。こんな世界は虚構のゲームの世界に違いないんだ。
This is a game. It can't be real. This world can't be real. This has to be a game world. The victim's last message was just sloppy and deep red blood had been burned into my mind. No matter how much I tried to not think about it, the letters rose one by one behind my closed eyelids, urging me to realize them.
なんであの言葉がここで出てくるんだ。
How is that phrase there? I knew those words all too well. Words I often murmured to myself. Words that asked nobody in particular. The words Grim had first said when I jumped on ESL. It was like they were everywhere now. Those words that I had never actually said to anyone throughout my entire life. Whose eyes are those eyes? Okay. That chapter was like shorter. I'm sure I don't know if I should keep on reading. Like I'm probably gonna end it here. So let's just save and read the depths. Okay, let's just do that and put it in the title menu. Okay, cool. And let's read the tips and tips. Only the new. Diagnostic results. You are morally delusional, which is the most common diagnosis. You live in a relatively comfortable life in the real world, and you are likely able to spend around the same amount of time hanging out with friends as you do enjoying TV, video games, and other media by itself. Human beings are creatures that require delusions in moderation, so such a thing is the reason why minds are so enriched. In your case, I'm sure you can enjoy your delusions while still making the best of your real life. Going forward, it will be important to maintain a good balance between real life and delusions. If you allow your delusions to run too wild, you might find yourself in danger of becoming a freak in no time at all. A word from Ayase. I suggest you sing. Let the song flow from your lips. Singing is an act that exists in reality. However, pouring your thoughts into a song is an act born from delusion. Singing allows these two sides to coexist, and you can share such a beautiful coalescence with many. That is why you should sing. A word from you. I by no means think it's weird to binge anime, but please don't let anime be the only thing you talk about in your daily conversations. Rule 34. If it exists, that's part of it. A satirical rule on the internet stated that anything and everything has received pornographic material in some capacity. Crash. When a program or operating system stops functioning, it closes. A number of web pages are designed to overload web browsers or cause the operating system to behave abnormally. Links to such pages are frequently posted on anonymous message boards without any form of warning, and in the worst case scenario, they can have serious attacks on the computer of whoever visits the page. Bait. In phishing, it means to add bait to a hook. Internet slang, however, it means to bait out reactions from people via posting provocative opinions or false information. The person doing the baiting on the nature but in the angry reaction should quote unquote take the bait, often abbreviated as BA. That's why we love you. Show for the quote. That's why we love you. That's why we admire you. A quotation from a popular manga about bizarre adventures, used to express awe at someone's capabilities, often used sarcastically in reference to negative traits such as pettiness. Video game addict. A term used to refer to someone that stays in their room and constantly plays video games for extremely long periods of time, often foregoing food, sleep, etc. Electromagnetic waves. Waves that exhibit properties about electricity and magnetism, first formally postulated by James Clerk Maxwell in 1864. The electric field and magnetic field oscillations cause them to mutually propagate each other, resulting in a wave that radiates through its surroundings. For that reason, these waves are referred to as electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic EM waves are divided by frequency into radio waves, infrared lights, visible light, X-rays, ultraviolet light, and gamma rays. Electromagnetic waves have been long thought to have harmful effects on the human body, but the World Health Organization WHO, has made a statement claiming there is no scientific foundation behind the idea, nor any evidence that supports a causal relation between the two. However, there's currently no evidence that disproves the relationship either. I thought I was going insane. Showed for the full quote. I tell you what exactly what happened. I blanked, but before I knew it, blank. I'm sure you don't understand what I'm saying, but I don't really understand it either. I thought I was going insane. If it wasn't anything simple like hypnosis, uh, hypnosis or super speed. On top of that, I feel as if I only got to experience the tip of the iceberg. One quotation from a popular manga about bizarre adventures, often used in order to copy the difficult to understand situations in a comedic fashion. Okay, it is. In Greek mythology, it's one of the two rivers located on entrance to the underworld. The name translates to River of Lamentation. The dead cross this river in order to enter the underworld. Botage, or Botage, a unique sheet of performance tape in the song. Collection of fans enact at idol concerts and other live shows. Some performances include very intense physical movements, with each and every one of the movements having a specific name to them. Fans in an audience performing botage in perfect condition is a sight to behold. Hair extension, also known as hairpiece, a type of hair accessory. It's a patch of artificial hair worn primarily by women for fashion purposes. Brainwash. The use of violent methods to forcibly reconcile someone's thoughts or principles. Brainwashing is performed by applying intense external pressure via physical methods such as confinement, threats, physical violence, or use of drugs, etc., or psychological methods such as instilling guilt, verbal abuse, etc. It's a matter of mental reconstruction that is even stronger than mind control. Sheep. A derogatory term used to refer to those who blindly follow their leader or shepherd without question. Black Mass, also known as Witches' Sabbath, a ritual performed by satanic cults. Although it's referred to as a Sabbath, it's the exact opposite of the masses held by the Catholic Church. When a Black Mass begins, the devil appears in the form of a giant goat. It's said that the witches then kiss the goat's buttocks, drink the blood of infants instead of wine, read aloud grimoires, and perform various impure acts. One theory states that the whole concept is nothing but a delusion, crafted and perpetuated by the sexually repressed priests and theologians in order to suppress heretics. Oh wow. That's something, alright. Dude. Net slang. Degradation of the word dude. Originates from the slang word similar slang word dude, but the O's are replaced with zeros. Clairvoyance. A psychic ability that allows a person to see far beyond a human perception with its power. When what is normally impossible to see with the naked eye due to distance, angle, obstructions, etc. can be perceived. The power can manifest in many ways, such as simply enhancing one's natural vision or seeing distant things in the form of still images. DID, Dissociative Identity Disorder, a condition in which a single person has more than one personality. A personality is defined as a continuous pattern of engaging with one's environment while being aware of the environment and the ego. In other words, a human's being ego presents itself by recognizing the continuous passage of time, conforming to their actions, and subsequently received information are consistent, and from there is quote-unquote themselves. Personality change in DID is sudden and can be triggered by psychological stress, social stress, as well as various other environmental factors. The disorder is characterized by many cases in which the different personalities do not retain the same memories. The age of onset is in early childhood, but it may not always be clinically apparent. It's easier for the disorder to become chronic should the patient has experienced some form of childhood abuse or psychological trauma. It was first referred to as multiple personality disorder in the DSM-3, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 3rd edition, published in 1980 by the American Psychiatric Association. While the name may be commonplace, it had not been used since the DSM-4, 1994. Snake, the name of a protagonist of a certain video game who has a professional in a covert operations. It's often referenced on the internet when an ordinary person is conducting anonymous or secret investigations. For example, during an operation, one of these individuals might say, "This is Snake. I infiltrated the building." An online wiki, an online system for the creation and compilation of hypertext documents on a web server. ORS. An ideograph depicting a person of force, the breast, O is the head, R is the arms, and Z is the legs. Typically used to express despair, dejection, or frustration. There's no set way to pronounce it, and as such, people may pronounce it ORS, ORS, or ORS. Shitstorm, next line. A state of furious, chaotic excitement or activity on an unchanneled thread. Sleepwalking, also known as somnambulism or noctambulism, a behavior disorder in which during sleep, especially non-REM sleep, the subject gets up as if they were conscious, wanders around, eats, bathes, etc., but cannot converse beyond simple topics. Depending on the individual, the state can last from anywhere to a few minutes to half an hour. At the end of that time frame, the individual returns to the place where they were initially sleeping and goes back to sleep. While in this state, the individual is completely unconscious and as such has no memory of their actions once they wake up. This behavior often occurs in people with mental problems and is often said to be caused unconsciously by stress. Precognition. Now, to know what's going to happen in the moment. Example, to foresee an unseen phenomenon, also known as foresight and foreknowledge. To know what's going to happen in the future before it actually happens. The term does not refer to the predictions based on experience, information, or statistics, but rather a specific sense that transcends humanity and natural perception. It has not been scientifically proven to exist. The way it manifests differs from person to person, with the most common being visions and prophetic dreams. Belief in precognition has existed since ancient times, where shrine maidens were often heralded as carriers. Psychics and fortune tellers are modern incarnation of this belief, but there are many false actors who enjoy taking advantage of the superstition, claiming that they have precognitive powers in order to swindle others. This guy is hopeless. A quotation from a popular manga about death minutes, spoken by the protagonist in reference to his foolish accomplice. The full quote is, "This guy is hopeless. I better do something quick." Used to express the exasperation. Warped in sheep's clothing. An archetype that refers to someone who is far more sinister than they might appear. They are often characterized by a black heart plagued with malicious thoughts, a large gap between their outward personality and actual personality, and a general sense of ill will toward others. It appears that there are some people who are attracted to these factors that are, for all intents and purposes, negative. Normie. People who have finding happiness and fulfillment in the real world. Makers of a normie, including having lots of friends, having a girlfriend or boyfriend, participating in a club, on school activities, going to parties, etc. FFS, net slang, short for fuck's sake, a way to express exasperation. Vidya, net slang, short for video games, typically used on message boards such as that type. And I think I read all of this, so let me just yeah, I already did this. Yeah. There we go. I already did this, so cool. So yeah, that's all. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.